Namaskar friends, I welcome you all in this class of mathematics. Today we are going to discuss derivatives by first principle. In the last class, we have already discussed about derivatives and its geometrical interpretation. We found a method to find out the derivatives at any point of a function. Today we will do it as a general point, any point on the curve, and we will see how we use first principle for finding out the derivatives. The principle is same as we discussed last time. Say this is a function y is equal to fx, curve is here. So, at any point x, say we move from delta x from this point to this point. So, we want to know what is the difference in the function. Let us call it delta y, small increment delta x. So, function is y is equal to fx. So, when I give a small increment in the x axis delta x, there will be increment in the function that we call as y plus delta y, and if it will be f x plus delta x. It is very small. Say this is the first equation, this is the second equation. Now, these are two identities. Now, let us subtract identity 1 from identity 2. So, it will be y plus delta y minus y is equal to fx plus delta x minus fx, or this will be equal to y will be cancelled out. So, delta y is equal to fx plus delta x minus fx. If I divide it by delta x, delta y upon delta x, so last time we discussed this geometrical interpretation. This delta y by delta x will limit delta x tends to 0. We call it derivative dy by dx. The right hand side will become fx plus delta x minus fx divided by delta x. This limit we denote it by dy by dx, which will be equal to limit delta x tends to 0 fx plus delta x minus fx divided by delta x. So, in the last class we discussed this gives the slope at this point, this angle theta, because as delta x tends to 0, this delta y over delta x will give the tangent value of tangent or slope at this point. So, this is the equation by first principle. Now, let us see some examples. Okay. Let us take continuous function. We have already discussed constant function. Constant function, while discussing function, so y is equal to fx is equal to a constant k. It is a constant. Its graph is like this. Suppose this is x axis, this is y axis, this has value k. So, its value is constant, it remains at k. So, let us find out its derivative by first principle. So, delta y will be equal to fx plus delta x minus fx, and dy by dx will be equal to limit delta x tends to 0 f x plus delta x minus f x divided by delta x. So, what will be its value? Here limit delta x tends to 0, f x plus delta x will be equal to k, because it is a constant function, it remains k. Whatever value you take, you x or x plus delta x, the value of y will remain k. So, k minus f x is also k divided by delta x. This will be equal to limit delta x tends to 0, k minus k will be 0, will be cancelled out, divided by delta x. Delta x upon 0 will be equal to 0. So, its value will become 0. So, derivative of any constant function is equal to 0. Okay. Now, let us take another example. Y is equal to fx is equal to x square. This is the function. So, delta y will be equal to, from first principle, fx plus delta x minus fx, or dy by dx is equal to limit delta x tends to 0. Fx plus delta x will be x plus delta x whole square, because the function is x square, minus x square divided by delta x. So, this will be equal to limit delta x tends to 0, square it, simple formula a plus b whole square, it will be x square plus 2x delta x plus delta x square minus x square divided by delta x. Here in the denominator, x square plus x square minus is will be cancelled out. So, this will be equal to limit delta x tends to 0. If I divide both the 2x delta x and delta x square by delta x, so it will be equal to 2x, because delta x and delta x will be cancelled out. So, 2x will remain here in the first and in the second, delta x square divided by delta x, 1 delta x will be cancelled out. So, it will be delta x. Since delta x tends to 0, so I will put delta x is equal to 0. So, this will become 0. So, it will become 2x. So, derivative of x square is 2x, and this is at any point on the curve. So, it is at general point x. If you want to find at any particular point, say x is equal to 4, so it will be put x is equal to 4. So, it will the value of derivative will become 8, 4 into 2 8. So, for that matter, you can find out the value at any other point. Now, let us take another example. Y is equal to x to the power n. So, delta y will be equal to f x plus delta x minus f x, first principle, and according to definition dy by dx will be equal to limit delta x tends to 0 f x plus delta x. The function is x to the power n, so it will become x plus delta x to the power n minus f x will be x to the power n divided by delta x. Now, do you remember a standard formula when we are discussing the limits? So, you must have come across a formula limit x tends to a x n minus a n divided by x minus a, and this is n a n minus 1. So, this was the standard formula discussed and problems were solved while discussing the limit. So, we will use this formula here. You see, this dy by dx will be equal to, and moreover we can write delta x is equal to x plus delta x minus x, because x will be cancelled out, so only delta x will remain. So, here we can write it to give the shape of this formula. I am doing this. So, let us say x plus delta x tends to x, because where delta x tends to 0, x plus delta x will tends to x, and here it will be x plus delta x to the power n minus x to the power n divided by x plus delta x minus x. We can write delta x as x plus delta x minus x. So, if you see this formula, this is in this form. So, we can write its value from this formula. It will be n and it is equal to limit delta x tends to 0 and its value is n x n minus 1. So, here no need of taking limit, because already after limit x n minus a n upon x minus a, if x tends to a, it becomes n into a n a to the power n minus 1. Here it in place of a, x is here, and in place of x, x plus delta x is here. So, I have replaced this from this formula. In the place of x, x plus delta x, in the place of a, it is x. So, it will be n a, in place of a, I have written x n minus 1. So, this is again a standard formula, d x n by dx will be equal to x to the power n, n x n minus 1. So, you should remember this formula, because it will be used at many places. Now, let us take another function. Say y is equal to ax plus b, where a and b are constant and a is not equal to 0. Okay. So, by first principle, dy by dx will be equal to limit delta x tends to 0 and f x plus delta x minus f x divided by delta x. So, it will be equal to limit delta x tends to 0, f x plus delta x will be a x plus b. So, in place of a, I will write x plus delta x, okay, plus b minus f x will be a x plus b, ax plus b divided by delta x. So, it will be equal to limit delta x tends to 0. Now, I will open the bracket. So, it will be a x plus a delta x plus b, and if I open this bracket, this minus sign is there. So, minus a x and again minus plus minus. So, this will be minus b divided by delta x. So, here you can see in the denominator that this a x and this minus a x, this will be cancelled out. Again this b minus this b will be cancelled out. So, here it will remain a delta x divided by delta x. A delta x divided by delta x. Here delta x will be cancelled out. So, it will be remain a, which is a constant. So, did you see the derivative of y here? We will take derivative of both the terms. So, in the first term, since it is multiplied by a constant a and derivative of x will be equal to 1, from the formula here, we found out the formula. Dx to the power n by dx is equal to n x n minus 1. Okay. So, if it is only a single one power, so it will become 1. Dx upon dx 1, or if it is a dx, d a dx, where a is a constant, it will be equal to a. Very simple. Now, similarly, you can find out, suppose your function is y is equal to a x plus b to the power n. So, if I have to find out by first principle, it will be dy by dx limit delta x tends to 0, and it will be f x plus delta x minus f x divided by delta x, which will be equal to limit delta x tends to 0, it will be a x plus delta x, because a x plus b is the function. Okay. So, this plus b minus divided by delta x. So, if I use this formula, we can write out this function, because as delta x tends to 0, we discussed last time that its value will be a x plus delta x plus b minus a x plus b will be equal to, it will be a x plus a delta x plus b minus a x minus b. So, a x will be cancelled out, b will be cancelled out, a delta x will remain. Okay. So, if delta x tends to 0, then a delta x will also tends to 0. It means that when delta x tends to 0, this will tend to this. So, we can use this formula n a n minus 1. So, it will be n a x plus b n minus 1, and since we have to put a dx, so we have to multiply it here by a. So, it will be, because for finding here a, we can write it, multiply it by a, and in the whole thing we can multiply it by a here. So, this constant a will come outside. So, it will come out here a n a x plus b n minus 1. So, this will be the derivative by first principle. Now, let us take an exponential function. Y is equal to e to the power a x, where a is a constant, real constant. Now, dy by dx by first principle will be equal to limit delta x tends to 0, and e to the power a x plus delta x. This is function f x plus delta x minus f x e to the power a x divided by delta x. So, this will be equal to limit delta x tends to 0, and you know in the power, if there is a sum, we can write it as e to the power a x multiplied by e to the power a delta x, because these two terms are a x plus a delta x. So, it is sum in the power, so we can write it as multiplication by this formula e to the power m plus n is equal to e to the power m multiplied by e to the power n. Minus e to the power a x divided by delta x. Limit delta x tends to 0. Now, here I can take out e to the power x here and here. So, I can take out e to the power x common. So, within brackets it will be e to the power a delta x minus 1 divided by delta x. Now, while discussing the limits, we also learnt a standard formula that limit x tends to 0 e to the power x minus 1 upon x is equal to log of e. Sorry. This becomes equal to 1. You remember this formula, we learnt that limit x tends to 0 e to the x minus 1 divided by x is equal to 1. So, here we will use this formula. And since you see this term e to the power a delta x, so here x is a delta x minus 1 and in the denominator only delta x. So, we will multiply here by a, and since we are putting here a, so we will multiply by A. In the nominator and denominator both sides we are multiplying by A. Why? Because A delta x is here. So, to use this formula we will use, since A delta x is here, so we will put here A delta x and we will multiply the whole thing by A. So, this will be equal to e to the power x constant. So, it will become outside. Again this A is constant. So, this A will also come and this will become 1. So, it will be A to the power x. Okay. Now, let us take one more example. Let us take a logarithmic function. Say logarithmic function y is equal to f(x) is equal to log ax. A here is base. Okay. So, by first principle dy by dx is equal to f(x) plus delta x minus f(x) divided by delta x. So, it will be limit delta x tends to 0. F(x) plus delta x will be log a x plus delta x minus log a x f(x) divided by delta x. Now, you must be remembering the property of logarithmic function, that is log of m divided by n is equal to log m minus log n, or vice versa. Log m minus log n. So, this expression we can write limit delta x tends to 0. Now, the nominator we can write log of a x plus delta x, and this x will come in denominator because it is minus sign, divided by delta x. So now this expression will be equal to limit delta x tends to 0, and this will be log, if divide by x in both the terms, so it will be 1 plus a is the base delta x upon x divided by delta x, and while doing limits we also used a standard formula on logarithm. And what was that formula? That limit x tends to 0 1 plus x to the power 1 by x is equal to log of this is equal to E. X tends to 0 dot delta x. So we will use this formula here. Here x is delta x upon x. We are taking as x. So 1 by x will be x upon delta x. So here one plus delta x upon x. Delta x upon x we are taking as x. So 1 plus x, and this delta x we will put as multiply it by x both in the numerator and in the denominator. So it will be x by delta x. So this will be equal to limit delta x tends to 0, log of base A, and x by delta x multiplication will be here into log of 1 plus delta x upon x. And this 1 by x will come outside. What we have done, we have taken 1 by x outside and limits delta x upon x tends to 0, because if delta x tends to 0, delta x upon x will also tend to 0. So, we have put here delta x upon x tends to 0, and in place of x we have taken x delta x upon x, and since this is logarithmic function, so this will come here as power is equal to 1 by x limit delta x upon x tends to 0, and this will become 1 plus delta x upon x, and here this multiplication will come as power here x upon delta x, isn't it? So, if I take delta x upon x as x here, 1 by x will be x upon delta x, it will be reversed. Okay. So, this value will become E. So, this will be equal to 1 by x we have taken log outside. So, it will be log base A of E, because this logarithmic function, it comes out to be E. So, we discussed in the chapter of limits that whenever we want, we can take limit outside the log or any function. So, this is the equation. If the base is E in place of A, if the base is E in place of A, then it will be equal to, if y is equal to log E x, then this will become 1 by x and log E which will be equal to 1. By x. Now friends, I will give you some basic formula which you should remember so that you can solve the problems of derivatives very easily. Very simple. In the next class, we will solve problems on that. Suppose u, v and f are function of x. So, t by dx u plus minus v will be equal to du by dx plus minus dv by dx. T a constant function, cu constant will come outside, du by dx. Product formula, suppose product of two functions u and v is there, u dv by dx plus v du by dx, and then quotient formula du by v by dx is equal to v du by dx minus u dv by dx divided by b square. So friends, you must remember these formulas which are here. These are quite useful formula, very simple, and it will be used in the problems of derivatives and at many other places. Thank you very much.
We wear clothes on a daily basis, but have we ever wondered where do our clothes come from? Who makes our clothing? And who are the people and the process responsible for the whole manufacturing of our clothing? If you want to know more about this, Indira Gandhi National Open University from the School of Continuing Education has launched a program which is Certificate in Apparel Merchandising. There are many benefits after doing this program. You can become a designer in various fields. It can be fashion designer, apparel designer, costume designer, or even a textile designer. One can also work as a fashion consultant. Research and development is another field which one can take up after doing this certificate course. Going into academics is another perk after doing this program. Getting into fashion houses or fashion studios as an intern is also a very good option post doing the certificate in apparel merchandising. The basic eligibility of the program is 10+2. The duration of the program is 6 months to 2 years. The program is also available for both the admission cycles, which is July and January. The exams are conducted twice a year, in June and December. So what are you waiting for? Join this program and get an enriching knowledge in the field of apparel merchandising. And to do so, you can log on to the official website of the university, www.ignou.ac.in.
Namaskar. Hello and a very warm welcome to all the viewers who are watching us live in today's Gyan Darshan session. Our today's topic of discussion is practical aspects related to the courses BSSI 012, which is computer skills, and BSSI 014, which is stenographic skills, which are being offered by the School of Vocational Education and Training under the Diploma in Modern Office Practice program. I am Dr. Geetika S. Johry, program coordinator of this program. So learners, before beginning today's session, which is practical aspects, let me give you a brief about the DMOP program, what this program is all about. So learners, we know that the secretaries and office assistants, they play a very important and a versatile role in the modern office environment. They are expected to have thorough knowledge of office management and procedures, along with excellent communication as well as organizational skills. We can see that the current business environment, it is demanding multi-talented secretaries and office assistants. So when we're talking about this DMOP program, we have combined the conventional practices, what the secretaries used to do, and office assistants' job with computer-aided management techniques. Now, after completing this course or this program, we will be generating competent and skilled personnel at the entry level in any sector of employment. So let's come and discuss about what are the program objectives or the learning outcomes. Now, after completing the DMOP program, the learner would be able to develop competency in communication skills. They will be able to develop proficiency in stenographic skills. They will be able to develop competency in handling office machines. They will be able to operate PC on window operating systems. And last but not the least, they will also know how to manage office records, filing and indexing, how it has to be done, and how to, keep in line up with the office management methods and practices, as well as inventory control. Now, talking about the program structure, this entire program, the Diploma in Modern Office Practice program, has been divided into 5 courses. Course 1 is BSSI 011, which is on communication skills. This is of 8 credits. Second course is BSSI 012, which is computer skills. It has both theory and practical aspects. This is of 6 credits. The third course is BSSI 013, which is on secretarial practice. This is of 4 credits. The fourth course is BSSI 014, which is stenographic skills. This also has both theory and practical aspects. This is of 8 credits. And the last course is BSSI 015, which is on office procedures. This is of 6 credits. So let's begin by just giving you an outline of each of the courses. Now coming to the first course, which is on communication skills, BSSI 011. Now as you can see the title of the course, this course will help you to improve your communication skills in English, specifically in the areas of listening, reading, speaking and writing. So when we were developing this course, we wanted to help you practice all these language skills in real life situations, so that you could speak and write with fluency and accuracy. Now as far as the editing skills are concerned, we have given you a lot of remedial grammars as far as our self-learning material is concerned. If you go through the self-learning material, you can see that there is a lot of grammar work which we have given to you. Along with this, each unit and lesson, it has a section on pronunciation, which will help you to improve your pronunciation of sound, your word stress and intonation. Because mostly in English language, we see that pronunciation makes a lot of difference. And if you don't pronounce the right word, or if you don't stress on a particular word, it will definitely it will have a different meaning altogether. So pronunciation of a particular word and where, the intonation, everything has been taken care of as far as this course on English communication is concerned. And learners also, if you repeat the words in English, the repertoire of words in English will be considerably enhanced your vocabulary. Means after there is a section on vocabulary. So if you keep repeating the words, that will also help you to enhance your vocabulary section. And last but not the least, if you practice all these things diligently, sincerely, we assure you that you will not only improve your language proficiency, but you will also feel more confident at the workplace. Now, this entire course on English, on communication skills, we have covered the entire gamut of situations which you may be confronted at any kind of workplace. So we have included the following. We can see that there are 8 blocks in this particular course. The first block talks about getting to know your organization. Block 2 is on telecommunication. Block 3 is writing in workplace. Block 4 talks about meeting and discussions. Block 5 is e-correspondence. Block 6 is writing reports and proposals. Block 7 is preparing for a job. And Block 8 is on self-development. So any person who is looking for an upward mobility, this course is very useful for them. And remember, learners, along with your knowledge of your specific job, if your communication and intrapersonal skills are good, then definitely you will get a chance to go forward in life. Now learners, let us come to the second course, which is on computer skills. Now the roles and responsibilities we can see of the office assistants and secretaries has changed significantly with the use of computer applications in office environment. Nowadays we can see that in the office, a computer has become a part and parcel of life. Without computers, without the ICT technology, one cannot work. So this course, why we inducted in this program, was to impart you with fundamental knowledge of computers, so that you are able to operate the popular applications which are used in managing the functions of the office. So what are the different kind of softwares, or what we have included as far as this course on computer skills is concerned? We have emphasized on learning window Vista operating system, which includes components of MS Office, applications of internet, computer network in office environment, etc. Now, these are the software learners which are used in most of the offices in mainly executing the responsibilities of office assistants and personal secretaries. Now, this entire course on computers has been divided into 4 blocks. Block 1 is fundamentals of computers, and here we have the following units. There is computer organization. There is computer input, output and storage devices. There is operating system. There is features and command of window operating system. Moving on to block 2, it it is on MS Office Part 1, which consists of MS Word and Access. So here we are going to give you the basic knowledge of MS Word, what are the advanced features of MS Word. We are going to discuss about basics of Access and advanced features of Access. Then moving on to block 3, which is MS Office Part 2. Here we have discussed about Excel and PPTs, where we will be discussing about what are the basics of Excel, what are the advanced features of Excel, what are the basics of PowerPoint, and what are the advanced features of PowerPoint. And the last block under this course on computers is Internet and Office. Here we will be giving you knowledge of information technology and society, what are the basics of Internet, and manage an information system. Now moving on to the third course, which is on secretarial practice. Course code is BSSI 013. Now, our entire program, the Diploma in Modern Office Practice program, is revolving around the roles and the jobs and the duties of a secretary who are working in any organization. So, when we were developing this course, basically, we wanted to teach the learners what are the basic nuances of office management that would help them to handle the practical situations in a very smooth and effective manner. So whether we are talking about a public office or a government office, private office, or any other kind of an office, they definitely require the assistance and skills of manpower that are capable of handling multiple responsibilities. So this course has been developed in providing a comprehensive outlook for learners, enabling them to withstand the requirements of the job market. Whatever are the requirements of the job market, we have developed, we have included all those issues and aspects in the course on secretarial practice. So this course has been divided into 3 blocks. Block 1 will be covering secretary, communication, and office correspondence. Block 2 would be covering reception and public relations, meetings, and report writing. And the last block would be covering sources of information, travel arrangements, handling cash and bank transactions. Now learners, let us move on to the next course, which is course 4 on stenographic skills, BSSI 014. Now, as you can see that the name of the course itself, this will help you to understand the importance and scope of shorthand. When we talk about stenographic skills, we talk about shorthand. So basically, what we wanted to do was to enable you to write, you could be able to write shorthand speedily and neatly at the workplace. That is why, we inducted this kind of a course in this program. So we know that in order to take dictation accurately and neatly, speed, legibility, constant practice, and good knowledge of language are the essential prerequisites which every secretary should know. So all that has been discussed in this course on stenographic skills, and this entire concept of shorthand has been discussed in 4 blocks. Block 1 will be covering introduction to stenography. Then we have consonants, we have vowels, we have punctuation signs and abbreviated W. Then moving on to block 2, we have diphthongs and triphons, we have upward and downward R and H, we have phrasography, we have circles and loops. Block 3 will talk about initial and final hooks, compound consonants, medial semicircle, diphones, aspirates, upward and downward L and SH, and the last block will cover halving and doubling principles, contractions, prefixes and suffixes, advanced phrases and intersections, note-taking techniques, and transcriptions. So this entire course on stenographic skills has covered all these aspects. Now moving on to the last course under this particular program is Office Procedures, BSSI 015. Now this course, learners, it majorly deals with the steps in which the activities in any office environment are taking place in a very sequential manner. Hence, we can see that any kind of organization, they need to follow certain set procedures which will help in reducing the cost of operations, which will allow effective training of new staff and personnel, which will help to enhance the performance of the old staff, facilitate smooth flow of work in the office between superior, subordinate departments, and so on. So we can say that the effectiveness or the efficiency of any organization, it largely depends upon the processes and the procedures and the ability of its employees to follow them in order to achieve the object of the business with speed, quality, following the procedures prescribed for the purpose. So this entire, all this has been covered in 2 blocks, block 1 and 2. Now learners, let us discuss about the evaluation methodology, basically which we have adopted for this particular program, the Diploma in Modern Office Practice program. So IGNOU learners, it follows a three-tier evaluation system. The first is the self-assessment exercises. Now these are the exercises, or these are the check your progresses which you can find inbuilt in your self-learning material. If you go through any unit, in between the unit, in a section or subsection, you will definitely find a kind of a self-assessment exercise, maybe in the form of fill in the blanks, true or false, or writing short notes, short answers. So these are basically self-assessment exercises where you can assess your own yourself, how you have been studying, how you have been learning, whether you have been able to understand the knowledge, the concept or not. So whatever you have covered in a particular topic, that has been given towards the end of that particular topic in the form of self-assessment exercises, and the answers to the self-assessment exercises are given towards the end of the unit, so you can check there. Then talking about the second component which of the evaluation system is continuous evaluation. This, learners, we do it in the form of assignments, and all the 5 courses as far as this program is concerned, whether we are talking about the course on communication skills or computer skills or secretarial practice, stenographic skills or office procedures, each has an assignment which you are supposed to write in your own handwriting, and you are supposed to submit to your study centers before the time, scheduled time, whatever the time is given in the assignments, in the booklet of the assignment. You have to write and submit the assignments. You have to read all the guidelines related to submission of assignments. And of course, first of all, you need to download the assignment from the website. We have already shared with you the links of assignments, and from there you can download the assignments. You can write the assignments in your own handwriting, and you can submit it to your respective study centers as per the time schedule which is mentioned. This is another method or another component of evaluation system. Then there is term and examination. Here, learners, we can see that there is going to be term and examination theory papers for only 4 courses. What are the 4 courses? The course on communication skills, the course on secretarial practice, the course on stenographic skills, and the course on office procedures. Now, examinations will be held in annual mode. That means if if you are a student of January session, then you will be able to appear for the examination in December. That means you have to complete at least 1 year's cycle to be eligible to appear for the examination. If you have taken admission in the month of July session, then you will be completing your 1 year of your cycle in next June. Then you become eligible to appear for the examination in next June. So for filling up the examination form, you can please refer to the IGNOU website homepage, where whenever the exam portal is open, you can fill up the exam forms accordingly. So as far as this diploma program is concerned, once you finish 1 year of your learning, you are eligible to appear for the examinations. Then, learners, there is another component which is term and practical examination. So our today's session is primarily going to discuss the practical aspects related to the 2 courses, which is BSSI 012P, which is computer course, and BSSI 014, which is on stenographic skills. Both these courses have a practical aspect. So the practical aspect will be discussed in little more detail after we finish giving you the brief about this entire program. So coming on to the term and practical examination, as I just said that there will be term and examination for 2 courses, BSSI 012 computer skills and BSSI 014P, which is on stenographic skills. You are required to pay the examination fees for both these exams as well. Now, in order to claim the diploma, you have to pass with at least 50% marks in each of the components separately. Whether we are talking about continuous evaluation in the form of assignments, whether we are talking about your term and examination theory papers, or whether we are talking about term and practical examination. In all these 3 components, you have to get at least 50% marks, then only you will get a diploma. Now learners, since our today's session, as I said, is basically discussing in more detail about what are the practical aspects related to the courses on computers and stenographics. So let's begin with getting to know more about what the computer skill course, how is this evaluated. So first of all, students, you are required, as I have mentioned again and again, you have to score at least 50% marks in the practical examination. And also the assignments in order to pass this particular course. The computer exam does not have any theory paper. When I was discussing about term and examination theory papers, I told you that there are only 4 courses in which you have theory examination. So computer is the paper in which you do not have any theory exam, you only have a term and practical examination. And how are you going to be assessed? Now, talking about the term and practical examination, the maximum marks will be 100 as far as this paper is concerned, where you will be doing hands-on of 80 marks and 20 marks will be objective type. That means you have to go to the exam center in person and you have to perform hands-on over there. So when you are going to be given a question paper, 20 marks will be objective type, which you have to do there and then, and 80 marks will be you have to perform hands-on on the computers. And the weightage of term and practical examination is going to be 70% in your final results. The duration of the paper is 3 hours. And talking about assignment, which is also going to be a part of your grade card, maximum marks is 100 and weightage is 30%. Now learners, let us talk about the evaluation methodology of the next course, which is on stenographic skills. Now again, I have mentioned again and again, I've said again and again that you have to score at least 50% marks in continuous assessment, which is in the form of assignments. In stenographic skills, you have theory also, term and examination theory paper also, and term and practical examination. So this is one of the courses where you have all the 3 components: assignment, theory, and practical examination. Now, how are we going to assess you as far as this course on stenographic skills is concerned? So firstly, talking about your term and examination, the maximum marks will be 50. Weightage in your final grade card will be 25%, and duration of term and examination theory paper will be 2 hours, because it is only a 50 marks paper. So obviously the time duration will be less, it is going to be 2 hours. Now talking about the term and practical examination, TEP. Here again, maximum marks is 50. Weightage here we are giving more to the practical examination, which is 50. And duration will be about 60 to 90 minutes for a batch of students. You know how much time a student takes, it all depends on the examiner. And when we're talking about the term and practical examination, we are going to assess you on the following parameters. First is your reading skills, which will be in the form of viva. That means you have to read aloud. For example, your examiner will give you maybe a passage in shorthand, and you have to read that passage aloud, and this will be for 10 marks, and probably it will take about 5 to 10 minutes to complete this particular exercise. Immediately after that, you have writing and shorthand skills. This is how another way we are going to assess you. We will be giving you an unseen passage, and that unseen passage, either you have to, if it is in English, you have to transcript into shorthand, or if it is in shorthand, you have to transcript into English. So this is going to be of 25 marks, and it should not take you about 20 to 25 minutes to complete this entire exercise. And the last is the typing skills, which is keyboard operation speed, where we are going to assess you on your typing skills. And again, this will be your for 15 marks, and probably it will take about 20 to 25 minutes. So then the last component on which we are going to assess you, which will be reflected in the grade card, is assignment, which is in the form of continuous evaluation. Now this is going to be of maximum 25 marks, and the weightage is 25%. Now many of the learners, you want to know what this assignment as far as this course on stenographic skills is concerned. Now learners, this assignment in stenographic skills, it is an audio CD, or an audio link, which we have already uploaded along with the rest of the assignments. you have to listen to the audio CD, and it contains, about 3 to 4 speeches, or it can be any kind of debates, or it can be any kind of discussion. And from those discussions or those speeches or those debates, you are supposed to transcript any 2 of them in shorthand. Suppose the first lecture or first discussion is on marketing. There is going to be a 2 to 3 minutes, audio clip to it. You have to listen to the audio clip and you have to transcript into shorthand. And if you're doing, for example, the first kind of this discussion, you will be writing the topic. For example, the topic is marketing, and then immediately after that you're going to transcript into shorthand. Similarly, if you want to skip the second speech, you want to go in for the third speech or the third debate, then you have to write number 3 and what is the topic of that particular debate or speech, and you have to transcript into shorthand. So these are basically audio CDs which or audio links which we have already uploaded on the website along with the rest of the assignments. And there itself also, very clearly I have mentioned how you have to proceed, as far as doing the assignment is concerned. Many of the students are not listening to the audio clip. What they are doing, whatever they are listening, they are transcripting or they are writing in English only. No, you have to transcript any of the 2 debates or speeches or any kind of a discussion in shorthand. Of course, numerical marking will be done. This is the weightage of the final results in the grade card, how your final results will be reflected in the grade card. Now, when we see your grade card, you will see that communication course has assignment and term and examination theory as your component. So we can see 30% of assignment and 70% of your term and examination. Then moving on to computer skills, there is a weightage of 30% of assignments. There is no theory examination. There is 70% of your 70% weightage of your term and practical examination. Then moving on to the third course on secretarial practice, it has a weightage of 30% as far as your assignment is concerned and 70% as far as your theory exam is concerned. Then the fourth course, which is on stenographic skills, we can see that all the 3 components, whether it is assignment, whether it is term and examination theory and term and practical examination, all the components are reflected and all of them have a weightage. Like assignment has a weightage of 25%, your term and examination theory has a weightage of 25%, and your practical examination has a weightage of 50%. And the last course, which is on office procedures, it has a weightage of assignment of 30% and 70% weightage is on your theory papers. Now, learners, at this point of time, I want to tell you that your theory exams, we know that in IGNOU, the theory exams are held twice in the year, in the month of June and December. So you would be wondering that when the practical examinations will be conducted. So as far as the computer skills is concerned, we know that there is no theory exam in this. So there is going to be a separate date sheet for the practical examinations, and these practical examinations will be conducted immediately after the theory examination get over. For example, if the theory exams are getting over in June, we know that June is one of the times when IGNOU is conducting their examination. Immediately in July, the practical examination will be conducted for both computer skills and your stenographic skills. Similarly, if we know that in December also we are going to have the examination. So immediately once your theory exams get over in December, in January next year, immediately in the next year, you will be having your practical examination in both computers and stenographic skills. So I hope, learners, I have made clear as far as today's session is concerned, which was primarily on the practical aspects related to the courses on computer skills, that is BSSI 012 and BSSI 014 stenographic skills under the Diploma in Modern Office Practice program. Learners, in case you have any doubts, you can please email to us on our email address, which is dmop@ignou.ac.in. All those students who are appearing for December examinations, you can please download your hall tickets. They are already there on the website. The date sheet is there on the website. Wishing you all the best for your examinations. Thank you. Namaskar.
A warm welcome to IGNOU. If you are creative, if you can write well, and if you can visualize, mass communication is the correct career option for you. I am going to talk about postgraduate diploma in journalism and mass communication, which is also the first year of MA program in journalism and mass communication. So any learner who has done a postgraduate diploma in journalism and mass communication is eligible to take admission straight away into the second year of our master's program in journalism and mass communication. Duration to complete this program is minimum 1 year, and because we have this inherent flexibility in distance education system, you can take up to 3 years to complete this program. The minimum eligibility criteria for taking admission in this program is bachelor's in any discipline. To give you a glimpse of what are the various components of this program, we begin with telling you what mass communication is, what are the various areas, various branches of mass communication. Then we go on to tell you about the various reporting techniques and beats of reporting, followed by media ethics, the principles, the codes of conduct that you must follow, and we also focus on the writing skills and editing skills for print media. Now this program comprises of 8 courses of 4 credits each. 25% of the entire program is practical based. So we have 6 theory courses and 2 practical courses. This program is so designed so that it will be able to make you more employable in the market. So it helps you build a career in print media, in radio, television, new media, as well as the allied subjects of mass communication, which could be media marketing, advertising, public relations and corporate communications, event management. This can also help you become an entrepreneur.
عزیز طلباء و طلبات اور عزیز سامعین، آج شاعری کی صنف غزل کے بارے میں گفتگو کریں گے، لیکن غزل کا پس منظر اور غزل کو فروغ شمالی اور دکن ان کے ایک طریقے سے اس کا تقابل کیا جائے گا. اور چونکہ غزل اردو کی تمام اصناف میں ہر دل عزیز صنف ہے، یہ ایسی صنف ہے جس نے یعنی کہ اس میں جب سے غزل وجود میں آئی تب سے ہی اس نے اردو میں اپنا ایک الگ مقام بنایا ہے. غزل کے پس منظر کو اگر دیکھا جائے، اس پہ سرسری نظر ڈالی جائے تو قصیدہ کی تشبیب یعنی کہ عربی، کیونکہ قصائد سب سے پہلے عربی زبان میں لکھے گئے، قصیدے کی تشبیب میں چند اشعار جن کا اس قصیدے سے کچھ لینا دینا نہیں ہوتا تھا، لیکن قصیدے کا شاعر تمہید کے طور پر ان اشعار کو اس میں ڈالتا تھا، یعنی کہ اس میں پیش کرتا تھا. لیکن جیسے ہی عربی سے فارسی میں جو قصائد جاتا ہے، قصائد اس کا ترجمہ ہوا یا کہ عرب فارسی میں قصیدے لکھے گئے، تو فارسی جو شعراء تھے انہوں نے اس بات کو محسوس کیا کہ یہ چند اشعار جن کا قصیدے سے کچھ لینا دینا نہیں ہے لیکن بڑے دلچسپ ہیں، آزادانہ طور پر ہے، تو انہوں نے مطلب وہاں سے غزل کا آغاز ہو جاتا ہے، یعنی کہ فارسی میں غزل کا آغاز ہو گیا. ایک سے بڑھ کر ایک بڑے بڑے شعرا فارسی غزل کو شعرا ہوئے ہیں. سعدی سراجی جن میں سر فہرست آتے ہیں، ان کا نام، انہوں نے بہت عمدہ غزلیں کہیں فارسی میں. اور ہندوستان میں اگر فارسی گو شعرا پر نظر ڈالی جائے تو یہ سمجھ لیجیے 19ویں صدی کے آغاز تک فارسی کا غلبہ رہتا ہے. یعنی کہ خود مرزا غالب نے بھی فارسی میں شاعری کی ہے، یعنی کہ غزلیں کہی ہے. لیکن جیسے ہی ایران سے ہندوستان میں غزل آتی ہے، یعنی کہ فارسی سے ہندوستان میں آتی ہے. اب ہندوستان میں چونکہ مکمل طور پر اس وقت اردو زبان بطور ایک زبان کی حیثیت سے یہ نہیں لکھی پڑھی اور سمجھی جاتی تھی. ہاں، اس کے بہت سارے نام اس کو دیے گئے. یعنی 12ویں صدی میں اس کو ہندوی کہا گیا. اور چونکہ وہ دور سلطنت کا دور تھا، ہندوستان میں حکمرانی سلطنت کے دور سے گزر رہی تھی. یعنی کہ بہت سارے ایسے الگ الگ سلاطین تھے جنہوں نے خود مختار ان کی سلطنت تھی. اور اگر تاریخ میں جا کر دیکھا جائے، یعنی کہ تاریخ کا مطالعہ کیا جائے، تو اس دور کو سلطنت کا دور کہا جاتا ہے. اور اس دور میں امیر خسرو، جن کو اردو یعنی کہ اہل اردو زبان والے بھی اردو میں بھی اس کو پہلا شاعر تسلیم کرتے ہیں غزل کا، اور ہندی والے امیر خسرو کو پہلا کوی مانتے ہیں. چونکہ اس وقت نہ ہندی مکمل طور پر دیوناگری مکمل طور پر وجود میں آئی اور نہ ہی اردو. وہ ہندوی کے ابتدائی شکل جس میں امیر خسرو نے شاعری کی. تو ایسے آہستہ آہستہ اردو میں غزل کا آغاز ہو رہا ہے. چونکہ اردو زبان نواح دہلی میں وجود میں آتی ہے. بہت ساری وجوہات ہے کہ وہ شمال، یعنی کہ نواح دہلی، کیونکہ دہلی ہندوستان کے شمال میں ہے، اور شمال سے دکن میں پہنچنے کی بہت ساری وجوہات رہی ہے. وہ سلاطین کی فاتح دکن، صوفیہ اکرام کا تجارت کے ذریعے بہت سارے ایسی وجوہات رہی ہے جس سے شمال سے دکن میں اردو پہنچتی ہے. لیکن دکن میں جانے کے بعد اردو کو اس کو ایسا سہارا ملتا ہے، یعنی کہ اسے وہاں کے جو حکمراں ہیں، بادشاہ ہے، انہوں نے اس کی سرپرستی کی. اور سرپرستی کی وجوہات بھی مختلف رہی، کیونکہ شمال سے کچھ صوفیہ اکرام مذہب کی تبلیغ کے لیے دکن میں تشریف لے جاتے ہیں، اور انہوں نے وہاں چونکہ اہل شمال کی زبان اردو ہے، یعنی کہ اردو کی ابتدائی شکل اسے ہندوی کہا. اور چونکہ دکن میں وہاں کی مقامی زبانیں تھیں تو خلط ملط تو ہوئی. لیکن چونکہ ان صوفیہ اکرام نے اپنا جو مذہبی پیغامات ہے وہ اپنی زبان میں دیے. ہاں، یہ بات ضرور ہے کہ انہوں نے آہستہ آہستہ وہاں دکن کی زبان بھی سیکھی. اس طرح وہاں کے سلاطین نے چونکہ اپنی زبان ہندوی میں وہ پیغام دے رہے ہیں، خطبہ دے رہے ہیں مذہب کا، اور اس کے ساتھ ساتھ عربی زبان کا بھی استعمال، کیونکہ اگر اسلامک طور سے دیکھا، اسلام میں جو قرآن شریف نازل ہوتا ہے وہ یہ عربی زبان میں ہوتا ہے. چونکہ عربی اگر کوئی شمال سے دکن میں صوفیہ اکرام جاتا ہے تو وہ عربی زبان کا بھی اس میں استعمال کر رہے ہیں. اور دکن کے جو حکمراں تھے انہوں نے اس بات کو محسوس کیا کہ یہ عربی اور شمالی ہند کی ہندوی ان دونوں میں اپنی تبلیغ مذہب کی تبلیغ میں یا ان کا خطبہ دے رہے ہیں. تو ایسے وہاں کے حکمراں کی دلچسپی اس زبان میں یعنی کہ اردو میں بڑھتی ہے اور انہوں نے اس کے سرپرستی کی. کئی شعراء وہاں ایسے ہوئے ہیں جو حکمراں کی سرپرستی میں ہی ان کی شاعری پروان چڑھی ہے. خود کئی وہاں کے حکمراں بھی شاعر ہوئے ہیں جن میں قلی قطب شاہ سر فہرست ہے. وہ خود ایک صاحب دیوان شاعر ہیں اور انہوں نے نظمیں کہیں، مثنوی کہیں، خود غزلیں کہیں. اور چونکہ ان کی جو شناخت ہے قلی قطب شاہ کی ایک نظم وہ شاعر کے حیثیت سے ہے، اس لیے ان کو غزل میں کوئی زیادہ ان کو شہرت نہیں ملی. تو وہاں کے مقامی یعنی کہ دکن کی مقامی زبان جب ملتی ہے ہندوی سے تو اور دکنی الفاظ اس میں ملتے ہیں تو اس کو کچھ عرصے کے لیے یعنی کچھ وقت کے لیے اس کا یعنی کہ دکن میں اس کو دکنی زبان بھی کہا گیا. اور چونکہ جب یہ زبان دکن میں فروغ پا رہی تھی، پروان چڑھ رہی تھی، اس میں شاعری ہو رہی تھی، تو ابتدائی جو شاعری ہوتی ہے وہ مثنویوں کی شکل میں ہوتی ہے. یعنی کہ دکن میں پہلے مثنویہ لکھی گئی اور وہ مثنویہ بھی وہاں کے صوفیہ اکرام کے ذریعے لکھی گئی. لہذا ان میں مذہبی عناصر اور دکنی ہندوستان کے عناصر کا ہونا لازمی تھا. تو یہاں یہ بات ضرور ہے کہ جب دکن میں مثنوی کی جو صنف ہے وہ فروغ پا گئی، پروان چڑھی، تب وہاں کے جو شعراء تھے انہوں نے فارسی کی دیکھا دیکھی، فارسی ادب سے، فارسی زبان سے واقف ہونے کے بعد اس میں فارسی میں اور فارسی کے بعد دکنی اور ہندوی میں بھی اشعار کہنے شروع کیے. تو پہلا دور یعنی کہ وہاں قلی قطب شاہ اور ملا وجہی اور ایسے کئی شعراء وہاں گزرے ہیں جنہوں نے اس زبان کو پروان چڑھایا، یعنی کہ اس کی شاعری کو پروان چڑھایا. لیکن دکن میں اردو غزل کا پہلا شاعر ولی دکنی، جس کو کچھ ہمارے ناقدین ولی اورنگ آبادی کے نام سے بھی جانتے ہیں، تو ولی دکنی چونکہ دکن کے رہنے والے تھے اور انہوں نے غزل یعنی کہ غزل کی صنف کو اس صنف میں اپنی قسمت آزمائی سے پہلے شمالی ہند کا ایک سفر کیا اور یہاں پر اس بات کو محسوس کیا کہ یہاں عوامی زبان کچھ اور ہے. عوامی بول یہاں پہ ہندوستان شمالی ہند میں بولیوں کی شکل میں مختلف بولیاں بولی جاتی ہے. ان میں جیسے کہ دلی کے دکن میں متھرا، شمال میں سہارنپور، دیوبند، مظفر نگر، بہت سے ایسے کئی اضلاع ہے جن کی بولی الگ ہے بمقابل دہلی کے دکن کے اضلاع کے. ایسے ہی اگر دہلی کے مشرق میں جائے تو وہاں پہ گوجری زبان یا اس کی بولی، اس کی کئی بولیاں جو وجود میں تھی لیکن وہ ملتی جلتی رہی. ان بولیوں سے ولی دکنی نے بہت استفادہ کیا اور بہت ایک طویل فہرست اس نے تیار کی. یہاں شمالی ہند میں کے شعراء اس وقت اپنی یعنی کہ یہاں کی مقامی زبان میں شاعری کرنے میں اپنی توہین سمجھتے تھے، اپنے آپ کو غیر مطلب معیاری اس کو زبان کا درجہ دیتے اور اپنے آپ کو اس میں شاعری کرنے میں کمتر سمجھتے تھے دیگر شعراء سے. تو یہ سلسلہ ایک طویل عرصے سے چلا آ رہا تھا، لیکن جیسے ہی ولی دکنی نے شمال کا سفر کیا تو یہاں سے اس نے اپنی شاعری خاص کر کے غزل کا مواد یکجا کیا، چونکہ غزل میں ایک ایک لفظ اس کے مصرع یعنی کہ ایک مصرے میں ایک لفظ کی اتنی اہمیت ہوتی ہے کہ وہ پورے شعر کا کہ مفہوم بدل دیتا ہے۔ اب ولی نے ان الفاظ کی فہرست یکجا کی، اور جب وہ یہاں کے رسوم، یہاں کے دیگر لباس، یہاں کے جو بیاہ شادی یا مذہبی رسومات ہیں ان سے واقف ہوا اور اپنے وطن واپس جاتا ہے، اس کے بعد اس نے یعنی کہ ولی نے اس میں دکنی میں، یا کہ دکنی اس لیے کہہ رہے ہیں کہ وہاں اس کو دکنی کے نام سے جانا گیا، اس میں شاعری شروع کی۔ شاعری میں بھی خاص کر کے اس نے غزل، چونکہ وہ فارسی غزل سے یہاں شمالی ہند میں واقف ہو چکے تھے، تو انہوں نے یعنی کہ ولی دکنی نے دکن میں دکنی میں شاعری کی، اور وہ بھی غزل کی اصناف جو ہے یہ صنف وجود میں آئی۔ ولی دکنی نے اپنی غزلوں میں وہاں کے مقامی الفاظ، شمالی ہند سے جو الفاظ اس نے ایک فہرست بنائی تھی ان کو استعمال کیا، ان کو یوز کیا اس میں، اور ایسے ایسے عمدہ اچھے اشعار کہیں کہ وہ عہد حاضر میں بھی ہمیں ایسے لگتے ہیں جیسے وہ آج کے دور کے شعر ہوں۔ تو ولی دکنی چونکہ غزل کے بابا آدم کہلاتے ہیں، اس غزل کے سلسلے یعنی غزل کی صنف کا سلسلہ شروع ہوتا ہے امیر خسرو سے۔ امیر خسرو نے جو سلسلہ شروع کیا اس میں انہوں نے ایک نیا تجربہ کیا۔ وہ تجربہ ہوتا ہے یہ ہے کہ انہوں نے کچھ، چونکہ ایک دم سے ان کو اہل ہند کو یا قارئین کو ایسا نہ لگے کہ بالکل بہت مشکل فارسی زبان استعمال کی ہے، لہذا امیر خسرو نے جو روایت شروع کی وہ روایت یہ ہے کہ انہوں نے ایک مصرع غزل کا، ہر شعر چونکہ مکمل ہوتا ہے، ایک شعر میں 2 پارٹ ہوتے ہیں یعنی کہ مصرے ہوتے ہیں، ایک مصرع فارسی میں اور ایک مصرع ہندوی میں کہا، تاکہ اس کو سمجھنے میں قارئین کو تھوڑی پریشانی کچھ کم آئے۔ اور امیر خسرو نے بھی الفاظ، زبان، ان سب کا خیال رکھا، لیکن ولی دکنی نے اس کو اور آسان سادہ سلیس بنا دیا۔ چونکہ ولی دکنی اپنی شاعری میں، اپنی خاص کر کے غزلوں میں، انہوں نے ایسے الفاظ کو استعمال کیا کہ وہ بہت ہی یعنی کہ عہد جدید میں کے معلوم ہوتے ہیں، اور ان کے غزل کا کہ مثال کے طور پر ان کی غزل کے چند اشعار میں یہاں پیش کرنا چاہتا ہوں۔ اور چونکہ ولی نے ایسا کہا ان کی غزل کہ تجھ لب کی صفت لال بدخشا شوں کروں گا، جادو ہے تیرے نین غزالہ سو کروں گا۔ تو یہاں محبوب کے آنکھوں، اس کے نینوں یعنی کہ آنکھ کی تعریف کرتے ہوئے اس کے ہرنی، غزل یعنی کہ ہرنی سے اس کو تشبیہ دیتے ہیں۔ اور یہ روایت جو شروع میں ولی دکنی نے ایک ایجاد کی، وہ بعد میں اردو غزل گوئی کی دنیا میں ایک بہت مشہور ہوئی، اور اس میں اس کے علاوہ یعنی کہ ولی دکنی کے علاوہ شمالی ہند میں ان کا دیوان جب شمالی ہند میں پہنچتا ہے مکمل ہونے کے بعد میں، تو شمالی ہند میں اردو غزل خاص کر کے ہندوی میں اس کی شروعات ہو جاتی ہے۔ اور ولی دکنی کے عہد میں یعنی کہ اس وقت ولی دکنی کا جو عہد ہے وہ 1667 سے لے کر کے 1708 یعنی کہ 1708 تک وہ مانا جاتا ہے۔ اور یہاں ولی دکنی کی غزل یعنی کہ انہوں نے ایسے ایسے اشعار کہے کہ جیسے پیا باج. دیکھیے آج کے دور میں بھی پیا باج, پیا یعنی کہ شوہر, پیا باج پیالہ پیا جائے نا, پیا باج پیالہ پیا جائے نا, پیا باج یقتل جیا جائے نا. تو یہ اردو غزل کے ابتدائی دور کا یہ شعر ہے, اور چونکہ اگر اس کو پڑھے تو آج بھی بالکل ایسا لگتا ہے کہ جیسے اردو غزل کی شروع سے ہی روایت رہی ہے کہ عاشق, معشوق, صنم, رقیب ان سب کا استعمال ہوتا ہے. اس کے متعلق یعنی کہ ان الفاظ کو ولی دکنی نے اردو غزل میں استعمال کیا, اور ولی کی غزل کو پڑھنے کے بعد ہمیں ایسا لگتا ہے کہ ہم اردو غزل کے ابتدائی دور یعنی قدیم دور کی غزل نہیں پڑھ رہے ہیں, بلکہ ہم جدید دور کے اشعار پڑھ رہے ہیں. تو ایسے ولی دکنی نے اردو غزل گوئی کا آغاز کیا. ویسے تو امیر خسرو کا بھی حوالہ دیں کہ امیر خسرو کو مکمل طور پر غزل گو شاعر نہیں کہا جا سکتا. اردو ادب میں بیشتر ناقدین نے اس بات کو اپنی اپنی تحقیقات کے مطابق یہ کہا ہے, اس پہ یا ہمارے محققین ہوئے ہیں تو, اور ناقدین انہوں نے اس بات پر اتفاق رکھتے ہیں سب مشترکہ طور پر کہ ولی دکنی اردو غزل کے پہلے شاعر ہیں, کہ ان کو بابا غزل کہتے ہیں. تو ایسے اردو غزل وجود میں آتی ہے خاص دکن میں, اور دکن میں جب یہ صنف فروغ پا گئی, بہت مشہور اور ہر دل عزیز ہو گئی, ولی کا دیوان بھی شائع ہو گیا. ولی کا دیوان دکن سے شمال میں آتا ہے, تو شمال کے اس وقت جو فارسی گو شعراء تھے, چونکہ یہ بات بتا دینا لازمی ہے کہ اس دور میں شمالی ہند میں فارسی کا غلبہ زیادہ تھا, فارسی لوگوں کے دلوں پر راج کرتی, یعنی کہ بازاروں میں یا ایسی جگہ پڑھے لکھے جو ماحول تھا درباروں میں, وہاں فارسی بولی جاتی تھی, اور بازار میں اگر کوئی فارسی بول رہا ہے تو اس کو پڑھا لکھا مانتے تھے, اس کو بہت اعلیٰ درجے کا سمجھتے تھے. لہذا فارسی میں شاعری کرنا ہی اس عہد کے جو شعراء ہے وہ اپنی شان سمجھتے رہے, لیکن وہ ان شعراء کا کلام ایک خاص خطے تک یا خاص طبقے تک محدود رہا, یعنی کہ دربار تک اور پڑھے لکھے عوام تک. اور وہ پڑھا لکھا عوام بھی کون سا, جو فارسی داں تھا, فارسی سمجھتا تھا. چونکہ فارسی کبھی ہندوستان میں عوام کی زبان نہیں رہی, لہذا فارسی جو غزل ہے اس نے عوام میں وہ مقبولیت حاصل نہیں کی جو اس کے مقابلے اردو غزل نے جو شہرت اور مقبولیت حاصل کی. تو شمالی ہند میں مرزا مظہر جانے جانا اور ان کے ہمعصر دیگر کئی ایسے شعراء, کیونکہ مرزا مظہر جانے جانا کا نام اس لیے سر فہرست آتا ہے کیونکہ انہوں نے زبان پر زیادہ زور دیا, یعنی کہ اردو زبان کو اردو کی طرح بولا جائے, تلفظ, قواعد, ان سب پر انہوں نے خاصا توجہ دی. یہ اردو غزل کا شمالی ہند میں پہلا دور رہا, اور اس دور میں چونکہ شمالی ہند میں شروعات ہو رہی تھی تو کئی اہم شعراء نے کئی اہم غزلیں کہی. لیکن اس کے بعد وہ دور آتا ہے اردو غزل شمالی ہند میں, اردو غزل کی دنیا میں, جس عہد کو, جس دور کو ہم عہد زرری کے نام سے جانتے ہیں اردو غزل میں, اور بڑے 3 شعراء اس عہد میں ہمارے ادب میں سامنے آتے ہیں, جن میں پہلا نام میر تقی میر, مرزا محمد رفیع سودا, خواجہ میر درد. یہ 3 چونکہ تینوں نے غزلیں تو کہی لیکن الگ الگ انداز میں. جیسے میر تقی میر کو شہنشاہ غزل, خدائے سخن, اردو غزل کی آبرو, بہت سارے نام دیے گئے. ایسے مرزا محمد رفیع سودا, چونکہ ان کی شناخت اردو ادب میں ایک قصیدہ گو شاعر کے طور پر رہی, لیکن انہوں نے غزلیں بھی کہی اور عمدہ غزلیں کہیں. اور خواجہ میر درد چونکہ شمالی ہند میں ایسے وہ پہلے شاعر ہے جو جن کے کا کلام صوفیانہ کلام ہے, सूफी शायर के नाम पर वो बहुत मशहूर हुए। और इस तरह इन तीनों उस अहद में इन तीनों शोरा ने उर्दू गज़ल को परवान चढ़ाया। इनके बाद दिल्ली यानी कि इस दिल्ली में अफरा तफरी मचना और ममालिक गैर के हमलावरों का हमला होना, दिल्ली का उजड़ना, बर्बाद होना, तो ऐसे कई मीर के कलाम में भी ऐसे हमें देखने को मिलता है कि उनकी शायरी को यहाँ तक कहा गया है कि मीर के कलाम को दिल और दहली का मरसिया कहा गया है। ऐसे यहाँ दर्द के यहाँ सूफियाना अंदाज है, और सौदा के यहाँ कसायद में क्योंकि कसीदे किसी की तारीफ या हिजू में लिखे जाते हैं, तो ऐसे ये उस दौर में उर्दू गज़ल ने एक अहम मकाम हासिल कर लिया। लेकिन इसके बाद भी उर्दू गज़ल का दौर एक ऐसा आया कि उसमें भी 3 बड़े शायर हमें दिल्ली और नवाई यानी कि दबिस्तान दिल्ली में हमें देखने को मिलते, जिनमें मिर्ज़ा गालिब और ज़ौक़, मोमिन खां मोमिन। क्योंकि ये तीनों अपने अपने एतबार से मुनफरिद हैं, लेकिन गालिब ने उर्दू गज़ल में एक ऐसा आहंग, ऐसा रंग भर दिया कि ये इस काबिल बन गई कि उर्दू गज़ल में यानी कि दिगर ज़बानों में, जैसे इनके फ़ारसी में उर्दू गज़लें कही गई, तो फ़ारसी के हम पल्ला बना दिया उर्दू गज़ल में। यहाँ तक मतलब यहाँ ये कहना भी मुनासिब होगा कि मिर्ज़ा गालिब ने उर्दू गज़ल को ज़बानत इन्होंने इसमें फ़लसफ़ा पैदा किया। गज़ल के ऐसे बहुत से शायर यानी कि शुमाली हिंद में दबिस्तान दिल्ली, उधर रामपुर और फिर लखनऊ में जाना, तो गज़ल और लाहौर में ऐसे कई दबिस्तान टोंक राजस्थान में, तो कई शोरा जो हैं दिल्ली से हिजरत करके यानी कि यहाँ की अफरा तफरी या दिल्ली के उजड़ने पर दिल्ली से जाकर दीगर मकामात पर जो बस गए थे, उन्होंने वहाँ पर भी अपनी शायरी के शौक़ को जिंदा रखा और वहाँ उन्होंने गज़ल की जो सिनफ है उसको परवान चढ़ाया। तो यहाँ अब मैं मिर्ज़ा यानी कि दिल्ली के दबिस्तान दिल्ली के चंद शोरा के कुछ अशार पेश करता हूँ। मिर्ज़ा गालिब का देखिए, उनके दीवान का ये पहला शेर है कि मिर्ज़ा गालिब नक्श फरियादी है किसकी शौक़ी तहरीर का, कागज़ी है पहरन हर पैकर तस्वीर का। मिर्ज़ा गालिब का देखिए ये, क्योंकि शेर के मुतालिक कहा जाता है कि जब ईरान में कोई एहतजाज करता था तो वो कागज़ का लिबास पहन करके, तो मिर्ज़ा गालिब ने ये शेर उसी असरात से मुतासिर होकर उर्दू में कहा। और गालिब का ही दूसरा शेर है, कहते हैं मिर्ज़ा गालिब, हालत पे मेरी कौन तासुफ नहीं करता, पर मेरा जिगर देखो कि मैं उफ नहीं करता। और ज़ौक़ कहते हैं, रोया करेंगे आप भी पहरो इसी तरह। पहरो यानी कि कई पहर होते हैं, जैसे 24 घंटे में पहर होते हैं। रोया करेंगे आप भी पहरो इसी तरह। अच्छा, यहाँ फिर कहते हैं कि अटका नहीं जो आपका दिल भी मेरी तरह। और मोमिन कहते हैं, मोमिन क्योंकि उसी अहद के शायर हैं, मोमिन कहते हैं, उनका एक शेर है बहुत उम्दा कि तुम मेरे पास होते हो गोया जब कोई दूसरा नहीं होता। इस तरह 19वीं सदी के अवाखिर में उर्दू गज़ल यानी कि इनके इन 3 के अहद के बाद में मिर्ज़ा दाग देहलवी ने इस सिनफ को परवान चढ़ाया और इस काबिल बनाए। मिर्ज़ा दाग देहलवी ने भी उर्दू गज़ल में ऐसे ऐसे अशार कहे कि उनकी बदौलत आज उर्दू हिंदुस्तान ही नहीं, बर्रे सगीर ही नहीं, बल्कि दुनिया के कई ममालिक में बोली जाती है। और कई लोग इसको सिर्फ़ और सिर्फ इसलिए इसको सीखते हैं कि वो गज़ल से मोहब्बत करते हैं, गज़ल को समझ सके, गज़ल को सुनते हैं। तो उर्दू ज़बान के फ़रोग में गज़ल का अहम रोल रहा है। और उर्दू गज़ल उर्दू ادب کی ایک ایسی صنف ہے جو ہر دل عزیز رہی ہے اور رہے گی. تو اسی کے ساتھ شمال اور دکن میں اردو غزل اس موضوع پر بحث ہو رہی تھی. اس مضمون کو اختتام پر لے جاتے ہیں. پھر ملیں گے. آداب.
Today, consumers are buying, selling goods and services through the digital media. The cyberspace has become